Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. I've got Chivas 12 year. This is the original of the line, introduced in 1938 under its current configuration, more or less. It used to be 86 proof, but 12 years. When Chivas Regal first hit the market in 1909, it was 25-year aged, very expensive product, ultra deluxe, and then Prohibition hit. And it kind of faded. It did fade away, but when they brought it back in 1938, they brought it back as a more affordable 12-year age. Now you can get a 25-year age today, and it's going to be like in the old days, very expensive. Okay, now the competitor is the Chivas Mizunara. It says Chivas Regal Mizunara, but on the website they call it Chivas Mizunara. Special edition, no age statement. Blue because Mizunara, they said, means water oak in Japanese. So some of the whiskeys in this are aged in water oak. It looks like cobalt blue on video, but it's actually like if you're looking at it here, it's more like a aquamarine, like the Miami Dolphins blue, okay? Or Coastal Carolina, if you're familiar with Coastal Carolina University. Same shade. Then there's gold trim, white trim. This is a new edition. It's only been around for about 6 years. And when it first hit the market, it was only sold in Japan. So it was designed for the Japanese market, but then I guess they figured it would get popular around the world, so they've expanded it. And I bought some last year, this bottle, for an outrageously low price, which I'm not going to go into now. But it's only a portion of the whiskey aged in the Japanese oak. All right. And you can see it's a good deal darker than the Chivas original Regal. Foil caps, twist cap, plastic twist cap, no cork. Okay. Gotta make my tags. I forgot. I always have a tendency to forget to do that. Okay. You can hear the noise next door. He's working on that boathouse. Slowly getting it built. He's building it on the slab that used to have a house, an actual, house that someone lived in, but it burnt down a long time ago. And there was just a slab there, and then there was another house on top of the slab, but it got blown away. Well, half destroyed, not blown, but crushed by a tree during Hurricane Andrew. So then it was just a slab, and now he's got this new structure, the big boat in there, and all of that. So he gets a day off, he'll work on it, then he'll leave it alone and go back, work on it. Some of y'all might remember back in 2014, I would do beer reviews in that yard. Next door was an abandoned house. The grass was tall as a person, and it just seemed like there was no hope, like this, I gotta live next door to this. And but then it went on auction. The bank seized it and it went on auction, and I could have gotten it, but I knew the people I wanted to get it, and she wanted to live by her mother and father who are elderly. So I said, I'm not gonna fight it, let them have it. I don't care. So they got it so cheap on auction, and they totally renovated it from the frame up. And that's the oldest house in the neighborhood. Been there since 1948. Well, at least the inner frame of it. That was great. All right. Will I be able to tell them apart? I think so, because the Chivas is noted, to me, it's noted for being bland. I just don't find it has much taste. It's not a bad taste, just not much. Now they have like a burgundy color. Or is that's not burgundy, that's what? Maroon. Yeah, that's what they call it. Maroon and gold. Maroon. Burgundy is more like purplish. But it's kind of purplish up here, and it's two different shades of red on the same bottle. I noticed that. So there's the maroon and the burgundy. Oh, well. These come from Chivas Brothers. What about Gaspar Gomez and Echeverria and the Chivas Brothers? What are they going to say when we start trying to move 20? Okay, Gaspar Gomez, Diaz Brothers. Okay. May not be enough, but we'll see if we can make do with this. The Mizunara is a little darker. You can see dark, like amber, and then this one is just gold. It's not a profound difference, but it is a difference, I think. Last night was Wildcard Wednesday. That was so much fun. It went great. Everybody was chilling out, having a good time. It went a long time, but we had a lot of people. Everybody wanted to be able to present their product. I wasn't about to be rushing people. Nobody was dragging it out like in a sloppy, unproductive manner. So they had good comments. So it just went along at a good pace. And then Michael had to drop off because they had another thing lined up. And then Bumpy Road, he hung around a good while. And tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, we're going to do champagne, sparkling wine. Tomorrow at the same time, 4 o'clock Pacific p.m., we're going to do pro wrestling question and answer. I cannot contribute anything to that, really, because I don't ever watch it and I don't know much about it. But they wanted to talk about it, and a lot of the viewers said, "Oh, I love talking about that," So I said, 1 hour y'all could talk about it, see how it goes. And it's mainly going to be handled by James P. Madonna and Nina Yoke. They're going to be kind of like the tag team hosts. Okay. It's just a bread dough, so to speak, type thing. Not too heavy on cereal grain over here. That was the one in my left hand. This is similar. Now, I think Chivas Brothers must have tried to kind of cover themselves, because maybe they were worried about some kind of legal action against them, because if you look on the Chivas Mizunara section of the website, it's a huge website, but it take you all day to go through it. They're talking about asterisk down below. Only a portion of this whiskey blend is aged or finished in Japanese oak. They're trying to say that. We're not saying it's all aged in Japanese oak. We're just saying a portion of it. Don't go get a lawyer, because you know how people are. So, but, and it's funny because you read their website and they have this long drawn out thing about why blended whiskey's so much better than a single malt. And that it's almost like it's designed to spark conflict or get the blended Scotch people to rah-rah behind it, like, yeah, that's right. And because it's such a divisive thing these days, blended and single malt. I don't care either way. I like them both. But some people are so volatile about it, they just flip out. They go crazy. It's like with beer. You got your adjunct beer, and you got the all malt, no corn or rice, and the people just go berserk about it. So it's almost like Chivas Brothers trying to tweak people, say, because blended is better. That's their tagline, because blended is always better. It's sort of like shots fired, you know. And then there's a whole essay, a whole section of the website that's dedicated to what their master blender talking about in detail why blended whiskey is better. He just goes, it's better because of this, and it's better because of that, and it's better because of this. It just goes on and on. And you might say, but wait a minute. Doesn't Chivas Brothers also make the Glenlivet single malt that's like famous around the world for being single malt whiskey, not blended? Yeah, that's right. So they're hitting both angles. They're just figuring most people aren't going to notice that, who's owning it. So they can, maybe if you get on the Glenlivet website, it'll talk about why single malt is so much better. And it's from the same people. Okay. I mean, each of those subdivisions are sort of like independent little companies, if you look at how they structure their company. But ultimately, it's under an umbrella, and the umbrella is called Chivas Brothers, which is also under an umbrella of another company, but we won't get into that. All right. So Aroma, yeah, it's basic bread dough with a little bread crust, maybe honey. Same thing over here. My smelling ability is not good right now because I'm getting over being sick. But when I did Chivas before, it wasn't exactly blowing up with aromatics anyway, so I don't think it's a big difference. Okay, let's go with the taste. The Howling Madness says, Happy New Year, Ronald Terrier. Happy New Year to you. Which is not here yet, but it's coming. It's on the way. I just was looking at this Incredible Hulk comic book from 50 years ago this month. 50 years ago, cover date at least, you know, the cover date. The cover date's usually early, because they want them to stay on the shelf longer, you understand? So it might say January, but it might have come out. It definitely came out before January of 1971, but it's a January 71, but it actually came out in late 70. But this was the preview. See, this was the issue. The Incredible Hulk fighting Kang. For Kang to conquer, the Hulk must die in the fury of the time storm. And don't miss the most unexpected guest star of the year. But look what's crushing down onto the Hulk. A huge clay structure of years. And it's 1971 coming down on the Hulk's back. That was a pretty cool cover by Herb Trimp. 1971, so 50 years ago. So we're going into 2021. So 15 cents. It's back when they were a lot cheaper. When I first started getting comic books, they were 25 cents. But I shouldn't say I got them. My parents were buying them, you see. Well, when I first started buying them, me, with my own money that my parents gave me, you know, but I used to get, they were 30 cents a piece. And I remember I could go to the convenience store and I could get 3 for $1 and maybe 2 cents back. So it was 90 cents plus tax. So it was always, you could pay $1 and you get a little change back. You get 3 comics for $1, which to me was a good deal back then when it was 30. Then it went to 35. Well, the end of that. I was at Walmart today, early, 7:30. And I noticed now Walmart's getting hog crazy with comic books. They got these independent comic books from Arkansas. It's called something. There's a whole shelf full different comic books. If you're into collecting, this could be your chance, because it's all from Arkansas, and it's there's like space series. One is Western, you know, like in the old days, and one is superheroes that you never heard of because it just came out, and all kind of stuff. Huge. And then at the checkout at Walmart, I noticed they had all kind of 100-page giants, DC, which I call diabolical comics. But these days, I'm not getting DC anymore. I'm finished with them. But they got 100-page giants, and then they got those multi-packs again. Remember back 40-something years ago, they would sell multi-packs of comic books at Kmart in a shrink-wrap bag. I think it was like stuff that didn't sell, and the distributor had to buy it back from the store. But they would just pack them together at random and sell them in these bags. And people would buy them. You know, it was always super cheap. It was like cheaper than the cover price. So now Walmart's got that. It must have been 100 different bags over there. And every kind of thing. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League, anything. All it was like, it did look like 5 together though, not 3. But they were just, and they had the UPC code in back so you could scan it. I almost scanned it just to check the price. But I said, man, look at all that. Never had the original, but the Mizunara I remember being pretty good, says Whiskey Quest. Oh, thank you. I'm about to watch, I think your video, you had a long video, like an hour long, where you were talking about it. So I was going to look at that. Well, not the whole hour, but you know what I mean? Try to find the part where you were really reviewing it. I know people do that to my videos, and I don't take issue. And now a comic is $3 and up. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. If you get it through subscription, though, it's a lot cheaper. It's like 60% off if you get it through the mail. Only problem is you can't get it through the mail. They never come in anymore. Although I did get 2 today. Detective Comics from December. It's from last month. But it came in, and then Action Comics. They just showed up. I called them. I was like, these books didn't come in yet. And they were saying, don't worry about it. Just hold tight. It's going to show up maybe. If it doesn't, call us in January. But they said it's probably going to come in. So, but yeah, you can get them way cheaper if you get them through the mail. Like I say, 60% off. Way cheaper. And I'm thinking of getting a 6-pack of Guinness Extra Stout, says Mackerel Baits. Mackerel at Walmart today. Does it have nitrogen in it like the regular one? No, not the extra stout. Does not have nitrogen. I remember when being 30 cents as well, and it seemed like every year they went up 5 cents. Yeah, in 1971 they went to 15 cents. No, since 1969 they went to 15 cents. In 71 they went to 20 cents. In 74 they went to 25. In 76, they went to 30, and then 78, they went to 35, and then 79, they went to 40, and then 80, they went to 50, and then it jumped to 1983, they went to 60 cents, and then it was 75, and then $1, and then $1.25, and so on. All right. Alterna is a comic company that still sells their books for $1.99 if you can find them anywhere. Alterna. I don't know what Walmart has, but they're from Arkansas. I noticed it said it was from Arkansas, Little Rock. And they had, like, you could make a whole collection starting off right now. The Howling Madness says, Jack Kirby, the Incredible Hulk to me anyway. Rest in peace, King Kirby. Well, Jack Kirby did the great work on the Incredible Hulk. But remember, he only did issue #1, and then they turned it over to Steve Ditko, who did great work. And then when they brought it back in Tales to Astonish, he kept working on it, and he did a very good job. And then something happened that he was probably couldn't do the work because he was too busy with Spider-Man. So then they went back to Jack Kirby. But remember, Jack Kirby mostly did layouts, just like rough, like shapes on a page. You know, like here's where this guy is this man here, this one. So that's what he did for that Hulk. Then he would have it finished by other people like Mickey Demio and John Buscema and other people. That was all through Tales to Astonish. Then at the end, remember, they turned it over to Marie Severin, her husband, John Severin, and she did great work herself, woman artist. Then they didn't know who to get. They tried a few different people, and then remember, then they brought Herb Trimp in. He was there for the longest time, for years. And then Sal Buscema was brought in, and he was there even longer. And then the 80s, you know, came, and then they started having some kind of inferior artists, like people that didn't know how to draw, like Todd McFarlane. I said, Todd McFarlane is a great artist, people say, except he doesn't know how to draw people. To me, it's a problem. You know, you can't draw people. You look like some kid drawing it, like a kid in 8th grade. Horrible artist. I thought you said you weren't buying DC anymore. I'm not. Or did you mean to say no? Well, Marvel canceled the comics I got, Fantastic Four and Hulk, so I didn't want anything else. DC got so diabolical. That's why I changed the name to Diabolical Comics. So I just don't want to be part of that. So I don't want these people getting my money. Let them go spread their poison. You know, I don't want to be part of their poison, you know. That's why you think I stopped getting National Geographic magazine 3 years ago. I don't want to be part of their poison. Not to mention they don't cover geography. Happy New Year's, says Abel. Same to you. Rest in peace, Kirby, laughing out loud. Yeah. All right. So I have basically every comic book that Jack Kirby drew in the 1970s. Am I missing any? There are 2 that I couldn't find. Amazing Adventures he did. That was with the Inhumans. I got 2 of them. He did like 4. And I'm still trying to find those other 2 for the last 30-something years. But I have everything. Every Black Panther he did in the late 70s. Every Devil, Dinosaur, and Moon Boy. Every issue of Commandy he did. Every issue of The New Gods, Forever People, Mr. Miracle. Every issue of Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Every issue he did of Captain America. All 2001: A Space Odyssey, except for the Treasury Edition, which I'm still trying to get. All the 2001: A Space Odyssey. All the issues of the sequel to that, which is Machine Man. I got Our Fighting Forces. Everything. Man, Sandman, Manhunter, all of it. I got it all. Didn't you just say you got a Detective Comic and Action Comics in the mail? Yeah, but I'm letting the subscription run out. You hear what I'm saying? I renewed my subscription in the summer, and then when these news stories started coming out about DC Comics, I was like, I'm never going to renew. I'm just going to let the subscriptions expire, and when they start calling me, I'm going to tell them no. Forget y'all. I don't need to live in a fantasy world anyway. Don't blame me. Blame yourself and your garbage. Okay. Gotcha. So, and never missed an issue from May of 1986 until right now where I'm sitting here. Never missed a single month ever. 1986, May. Now, I barely missed any between 1976 and 86. But I had given it up a few times just because I say, oh, I'm going to buy rock and roll albums. I don't have any money. But I couldn't resist, you know. I would get triggered, you know, like, you'd see a comic book cover and I'd say, I got to do it. My father's like, you're addicted. You're sick. I'm like, I am sick and I am addicted and I don't care. Okay, taste time. But they're not any good anyway anymore, comic books mostly. Maybe these independent ones are. Maybe the ones from Arkansas would be good. That tastes pretty regular. You can pick some cereal grain burn up in this. But it's like bread dough and a little honey. It's mild. It's nice. There's nothing bad about it. It's just kind of average, kind of ordinary. And that's $35 for ordinary. So I don't know. You really want to pay $35 for ordinary? Just when you thought you were out, they kept pulling you back in. I know. And I wasn't even trying to save the Pope's life. What change do you think social justice warrior possibility? Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, I was lucky enough to have met and spoken with Steve Ditko back in 2012. For a recluse, he was very friendly with a fanboy like me from another country lost in the Big Apple. Image comics are pretty good. Okay. Steve Ditko, what a great artist. Strange artist. When I was young, I hated, I was like, I can't stand his artwork. But then I'd always be looking at it. I was like, well, if I can't stand it, why do I keep looking at it? If I hate it, why do I look at it constantly? If I hate, Jack Kirby, I hate it, but I didn't hate that because that was so memorable. Like, you never can forget Jack Kirby artwork. Like those old Batman comics, you just always knew, Irv Novick and Frank McLaughlin, or Bob Brown, I think, was the original inker. But you always knew Batman, Irv Novick. You always knew. So definitive. His artwork. Or Jim Aparo was like, always knew Jim Aparo. This one tastes a little darker. Now, I made a joke in the video earlier. I was like, how can something taste darker? That doesn't even make any sense. Darker is not a taste. I know that. Logically, that makes no sense. But I'm not using logic right now. I'm just using like an ability to tell one from the other. And it doesn't have to make sense. I can tell that this is probably the Mizunara because it just seems to be more darker. Same proof, 80, 40% alcohol. So that's 12-year age versus no age statement. I got nothing to say about it. I don't know what to say about it. Now, is the difference profound? Is it like, oh man, I just gotta run out and buy Mizunara for $54. I gotta run out and pay $20 more than that regular Chivas Regal. That's $34. They don't even have the Mizunara anymore on the Total Wine website. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't selling, and they said, well, once it's out, don't order it anymore. Ain't nobody buying it. Something. I don't know. Because I did check earlier this year. It was $54. I mean, I don't see a $20 difference. Maybe a $10 difference. But that's a stretch. Is it a gimmick? Is Mizunara a gimmick? They're taking Scotch and aging some of it and really just finishing it, which means they might have only aged it a few weeks in Japanese water oak. Is that a gimmick? Well, yeah, because a lot of this stuff is gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? The famous grouse aged in ruby port barrels. This aged in that. This aged in that. I mean, look at the craft beer world. You ever seen so many gimmicks? You say, no, it's all gimmicks. This one aged with Mackinac fudge coffee, and this one with a clown. A man was brewing it wearing a clown uniform, and this one was made while all the people at the brewery were doing somersaults, and it made a difference. And this one uses a little contraption, and it goes through like it goes through the boil like Fantastic Voyage with Raquel Welch, and they're gonna come out of somebody's teardrop. It's all gimmicks. You say, but people fall for it. You buy it, you fall for it. Yeah, I fall for it. I like gimmicks. I didn't say I didn't like gimmicks. I love gimmicks. I love gimmickry. But I recognize what they are. I think that's why I like your beer and booze reviews, Ronald. You state your own strong personal opinions, well as historical anecdotes and information. Oh, thank you. Laughing my anatomy off, says Whiskey Quest. Ron dropping truth bombs, laughing out loud. I always drop truth bombs. You know that, people. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. And I always steal everybody's material. Some people know about me that nothing I do is original. But that's a little secret that we're going to all keep to ourselves. We're not going to talk about it in public. Oh, yeah, this is a public video. Well, pay no mind to that. Honey, 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 honey. You say, honey, honey. What are you singing? ABBA? Honey, honey. It's just what I'm picking up. Same thing, but with a darker note, even though that doesn't necessarily make sense. Apparently, no one noticed that the KBS Mackinac fudge contained artificial flavoring. That just went like totally off the radar. And everybody was bragging, it's awesome, man. It's 100 out of 100. I only paid $26 a 4-pack or whatever. I paid $21.99, $20.99 plus tax. Even I gave it 100. So you can indict me if you want. I gave it 100. I say it tastes perfect. It's awesome. It's outstanding. It's a 100 out of 100. I was bragging on it like a person bragging. I still have some left in the fridge. It's so great. But then I said, we were doing the video and I looked and I was just like, I just stared at the label and it said contains artificial flavoring. I was like, wow, craft beer, it's like the whole thing is rigged. I just felt like this whole thing's rigged. It's like you say, I love Queen because they don't use any synthesizers. Then you find out all their guitar work is like multi-tracked 1,000,000 times. And you say, well, that's like synthesizer because it's synthesized. They just keep, it doesn't actually sound that full. It's manipulated. And then you're all depressed and you're like, I knew that album Jazz wasn't that great. You bragged about it last month. Yeah, but I didn't know about the multi-tracking. Now I don't like it. Oh, okay. And then even though that meant so much to you, then they started using synthesizers anyway in 1980. So then it didn't even matter. The whole thing was a scam, a royal scam. You felt like Kid Charlemagne after you found that out. Okay. To me, if it tastes good, then it's good. Right. I say the same thing. If it tastes good, then it's good, even though it may be artificial flavoring. But anyway, who cares? All right. Of course, it is $20.99 a 4-pack. Rob Della Santos says, hello, put more down. I better not drink too much. Is Donald Trump going to declare martial law? Probably. Well, I support that. Only if we can get away with it. No, I'm just, no. Yeah. Murmur. All right. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more, say no more. I don't know. I don't believe in all that hysteria on the internet. MG. The Howling Madness says, your honesty equals originality. You don't need any contrived originality or novelty. Just be honest and people will respond. I am honest about my thievery. You know what I'm saying? That's what's original about it, that it's all co-opted. You know what I'm saying? The artificiality of it is the originality of it. Okay, now I think it's like a snake eating its tail. Okay, I think this is the Mizunara by virtue of the darker flavor. But it ain't worth no $20 more. I would not pay $20 more. Is it better than the Chivas? Yes, because I gave the Chivas a 90 out of 100. And I give this a 94. You'll notice that when you see the solo review. But I ain't paying no $20 more for 4% better. You might, I'm not. But I didn't have to pay much anyway because I got it for some criminally low price. And I'm saying that as a joke, but it's probably not really a joke. It probably really is criminally low. But I better not say too much because I do go to that store often and I'm going to keep going until I can't go anymore. because of whatever happens over there. But until that happens, I'm going to keep going. Hello, Ronald. My family are driving to northern Dayton Beach, Florida. Oh, Daytona Beach, Florida. Thanks for the road trip radio show. Oh, you're welcome. Live on the internet. Here I am, spouting arguably true material. My family and I understand. All right, so I'm going to say this is the Chivas Mizunara. Ah, ha, ha. Never question my awesomeness, even though I always encourage. No, I do. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, anyway. My friend David told me he had a vaccine. And then he was saying something to me like, I said, well, you already told me that. I did. I said, you told me that 2 days ago. I said, are you disoriented? Yeah. He says, yeah, I am disoriented. And I feel weak. And I said, you sound like you're congested. Yeah, I am. I said, well, good thing you took that vaccine because you weren't sick and now you are. I said, that's great. That's great. He said, well, if I'm dead, I'm dead and you'll know what happened. I said, right. I said, but that's kind of bad. Like you were feeling fine, talking straight. Now you're disoriented, not quite sure where you are. I said, yeah, that's great. That's great. Havana's great. The Howling Madness says, in my opinion, Chivas is overpriced and not really deserving of its reputation. It's solid, but not exceptional. I'll go along with that. But I had to pay the $35. I wanted to try it. I said, I got to try it. Going from cold to warm sure is great. I'm excited to see the beer and spirit selection in Florida. It's 75 degrees here right now. I had to take my undershirt off. I was so hot. It was 75 yesterday. I'm not complaining. But that's Louisiana. You get these warm January days, warm December days. Higher chance of dying from a vaccine. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I played one on TV. No, I'm not a scientist, okay? But I'm just telling you what happened, and that's the truth. That's what he told me. I said, remember 2 days ago you told me you took a shot and you were saying, oh, there's no side effects. You felt fine after an hour, except your arm was sore, your shoulder was sore. And now 2 days later, you're telling me something, you already told it to me, and you're not realizing that you already told it to me. And I said, are you disoriented? And you said, you think you are. And you don't feel well, and you're weak, and now your chest sounds congested. But yet, Monday it wasn't. Okay, that's nice. The western part of your state has tornado watches. Yeah, that's normal. And it's coming here. 12 degrees here in Chicago. Oh, sounds wonderfully horrible. I'm 75. It's 75 in southern Georgia, says Kevin. I'm sure we'll be about the same once we get to Florida. Probably a little warmer. Dave is getting older, though. Yeah, and like Stevie Nicks said, I'm getting older, too. Yeah, everybody's getting older, right? Everybody on Earth is getting older. But I don't know. It was strange. It was really weird. All right, so this is the Chivas, and it's still bland as always, but not terrible. I'm not going to be up here overplaying and talking about how horrible it is. It's not horrible. It's just bland. Okay, now the next taste challenge. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up. What's it like living in Louisiana? Hot, humid, and when it's cold because of the humidity. I mean, like 48 degrees, you feel like you're going to die because of the humidity. And you're sick all the time. Everybody in Louisiana is sick all the time because of the humidity and the mold. So you will be sick all the time. Your nose will be stopped up and all of that. It seems beautiful from a historical and architectural perspective, but at the same time, poverty and crime-ridden. There's poverty. There's crime in certain areas. And I think if you use your imagination, you'll figure out what those areas are. Perspective, perspective is all about perspective. Some people have a tendency to not have any. They lack it. Now, next taste challenge. Oh, so Louisiana's fine. I've been to 48 states. Got 2 left. They're all nice. Every state I went to was nice. All of them. All of them. But Louisiana's the best one, you know. And you say you're biased because you live there. I am biased. Everybody's biased. We're all biased. But it is the best. But the other ones are very nice. Even Maine was nice. You say, why you say it like that? I don't know. It just seems like it's so far away that it wouldn't be nice. They probably thinking the same thing. We think that about y'all. That's how we think about you. Is Washington, D.C. a hellhole? No. And I know where to park for free. What's good beer if I like drinking Hurricanes? I really don't know. Because I never drink a Hurricane mixed drink. How can it be the best if you're always sick? Oh, yeah, well, if you factor that out. Just factor out the constant being ill, and it's the best. The best. Vermont is the prettiest state I've ever seen. I've been there. I drove from the top to the bottom. Top to the bottom. Didn't even take long. It was green. Everything was green. It was like a bunch of green mountains. They should name it the Green Mountain State. They could call it that in French. Vert. Vert. That's the French word for green. Vert. Mont. Vert. Green Mountain. That's what they ought to call that. Get the Steel Reserve fruit punch. I did. I tried it. I reviewed it. It was good. Free parking equals paradise. Yeah, I know where to park for free in D.C. I live right outside of D.C. I enjoy Northern Virginia except for the cost of living. I'd hate it. I stayed in Northern Virginia in Alexandria, right across the river. Been to the Nationals 3 times at the old stadium and twice at the new. Or is it 3 times at the new? Yes, 3 times. Never paid to park 1 time. And there's a liquor store right across the street from the Nationals ballpark. And I found some really great beers there. But last time I went, they didn't have anything too special. I was like, oh, wow, Bud Light, Pabst, Blue Ribbon, Michelob, Ultra. I said, I'm pretty sure we get that. California is bad assumptions, but I'm going to have to move away from the communist future. I don't blame you. Okay, now I'm coming back in a little while later this afternoon with another taste challenge. Alexandria, so I love more in the Shenandoah Valley. Oh, yeah, been there many times. Highway 11 runs from New Orleans all the way up to Shenandoah Valley, all the way through West Virginia, into Maryland, Pennsylvania, bottom to top, New York, bottom to top, U.S. Highway 11, been all the way on it, ends in Quebec. California is beautiful. Los Angeles, yeah, I've been there. I didn't look too nice, unless you like graffiti, which I hate. Okay, thanks for watching. It's been long enough, too long, but it was a very nice discussion talking about comic books. Everybody loves talking about comic books in cities and states and weather. And the whiskeys were fine. So see you later today with Chivas Regal Mizunara versus Buchanan's 12-year. And I have a feeling Buchanan's going to win that one. 3 mugs clinking. Thank you. Yeah, oh, yeah, it's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right, later, y'all.